Hey everybody, it is TorontoUnicorn here with Mr. and Mrs. Nudelyweds. Hello.
Hi.
Back again.
This is in the TorontoUnicorn studio. What do you think? Take a look around. Is this what you thought it would be?
The lair of the unicorn. I love it.
I only ever get to see one little sliver of it online. I don't get to see. Now I know what I'm looking at.
It's true. You know, these are the things I use to cuddle when we do the virtual events and stuff. They actually get to go home with their very own penis pillow too.
Oh my God, are you really carrying that on the plane?
Oh yes. Mm-hmm. I will be flying back to California with this in my
It's a neck pillow. You could just...
Oh my God, this is going to be hilarious. Last time we got on the plane, she was wearing an Oasis sweatshirt.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
steward goes, nice sweatshirt. As we walked past, they gave her a little
Really?
nice sweatshirt. And then kept coming over and trying to talk to her.
Yeah, he said, me and my partner are going next weekend.
Right.
It was cool.
That is
Funny.
cool.
When I
It's
walk
so
the streets
cool.
of Toronto, I wrap my Oasis sweatshirt around my waist because I'm always hoping that somebody will say
Yeah.
something.
And does it happen?
Not really, no.
Not yet.
Not like that
Yeah.
first time we walked down the street and someone said, "Are you Toronto Unicorn?" That was amazing.
That was your first ever visit here, and I was like lugging my stuff to come and interview you, and this like random fan on the street was just, at first he tried to get me to go down an alley with him, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
And I was standing right there too.
Yeah, I think he was shy. I think he was trying to like separate me from the herd so that I could get, and I was like, no, dude, I don't care what you have to ask me, So that was fun.
Or maybe not out you to us. Like, what if I was your big sister or something?
yeah.
I'm like,
Maybe. I never thought about
are you
that.
kinky in real life and I don't know it?
That's
so
respectful
funny.
because that actually comes up as some
That
of the
could have
rules
happened.
of swinging is how to not
Yeah.
out somebody. Or if you're at a swing club and you see somebody from your regular life, not out them. Or if you see somebody on the street from your swinger life, how to not out them.
Both
It could be with
directions.
family at that moment. It could be with a work colleague at that moment.
That's a very good point, and I actually do want to drill into this topic. I've got a request from a top fan that is curious in the lifestyle and wants to know, what do you do when you run into someone you know? Because for some people, that's their biggest fear, and it's enough for them, if it happens, to never go again. And I want to really make a mindset shift here, because it's like when you find someone else at Comic-Con, it doesn't make you not want to talk to them anymore. It makes you want to talk to them about Comic-Con, you know?
Right,
you can
right.
bond over these things. So if I found somebody at a swinger club, I would use it as a bonding opportunity and make a smile. If they want to talk to them, but don't make it awkward. I don't know. That's how I would do it.
You're both there, and I think that's what you need to keep in mind is you're both there.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, it may be Charlie from the mailroom, but they're at the club too.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what you have next time is like, Charlie, next time you're headed through the mailroom, right?
Exactly.
We're
Wink,
not
wink.
gonna talk about it, but
I
now.
was DJing at a swinger party one time in a nightclub, and I saw somebody on the dance floor that I used to work with, and I got very excited because I was very happy to see them, and I just reached across and I tapped them, and they turned around. They were like, "Oh my God!" But then
Did you know
always
ahead of time, or was that the discovery moment?
No, it was the discovery moment.
Okay.
And then we've been friends ever since about it. So we run into them at lots of parties and stuff. We did run into somebody on the street from the nude beach, and most nudes didn't recognize them with their clothes on.
That's
and I
funny.
did.
That happens.
That's funny.
She was like, "Who is that?" I'm like, "The nude beach." That was
That's
hilarious.
so funny. That happens to us at Oasis, where we meet people there, and then we don't know what they look like in clothes, and then we'll see them out on the street for we'll go for drinks or something, and we'll be like, "Oh, that's how you dress." We had no
Right.
idea. And that's a lot of people's identity too. So it really disarms people when you have no clothes on. You're kind of naked in more ways than one, right? This is just me. You have that's all you have to offer.
Or going
That's
to-
why I bring my identity with me. I've got the hair, I've got the jewelry, I wear it in the pool because I'm just not gonna. The only thing I'm gonna change is, I have to go outside, so this has to go on.
Right.
When you go-
And even yesterday, outside, her titties were showing because she's like, it's legal in Canada,
That was hilarious,
I love it
actually.
so much.
So, yeah, it's kind of fun. I see her titties all the time, especially on the virtual event. So back to things. So if I were to give advice to somebody who's new and they're nervous enough and they walk into a club and there's someone there that's a coworker or a friend of a friend, how would you experience swingers? Tell them what to do. How would you address that?
What we talked about on stage the other night was sometimes let it be for a minute. Don't make a big deal out of it right away. Leave them alone. Let them settle in. You don't know if it's their first time or their 100th time. They don't know if it's your first time or your 100th time. So don't make a big deal about it, or don't freak out over it. Just maybe later say hi.
So freak out in private with your friend.
And I say,
Right.
loosely freak out or go,
Right.
"Hey," or just let it go. Act like it's not a big deal. Be nonchalant about it.
Yeah.
And then later when you pass each other, hey, I did notice you at the front, at the bar or something like that.
Right.
Nice to
Are
see
you having
you.
fun? Nice to see you.
Yeah. That's cool.
I think
Just,
if you
not
act
make it a
like
big
it's
deal.
not a big deal, then it probably will end up being not a big deal.
Right.
Okay. What if it's your boss?
That
No,
would be a
I
big
don't
deal.
think-
No.
Yeah.
that would be bad.
You know what?
They're there, you're
They're
there.
there, you're there. I mean, I don't know what you would say, but you have to take a certain degree of, well, we're like-minded. Maybe that's a
Right.
good thing. Maybe that would make things better in the real world.
I also have to say that after being in this for so many years, my reaction today might be different than it was when we were new at it. I might have geeked out a little bit more when I was new and younger, and now I'm a little more nonchalant and I care a little less what they
Gotcha.
think per se, I think.
Well, that's good. Yeah, it was a specific question I had, so I thought I'd ask. So you guys are the most veteran swingers I've ever met, and that is really rich, a well of information for a lifestyle community that's learning about this lifestyle. And so one of the things that I've personally seen over the few years that I've been in lifestyle, about 4 or 5 years, is the ebb and flow of people's experience. Some people start out really aggressive, wanting to go to DTF theme nights, gangbang nights, then they kind of transition back into something different, and then sometimes they pull away from the clubs for a while altogether,
for sure.
or the swinger lifestyle too.
Sure.
I have seen people who swore, guys who I have been with, who swore up and down they'd never be monogamous. They're monogamous with a girl they met at the club because they started out swingers, they fell in love, and then they decided they wanted something different than that.
Interesting.
So, so I think that's really fascinating. But because you've been in lifestyle for how many years now, roughly?
We've been together for 35 years, and it kind of started in the beginning just because I was a bisexual female, but there was no internet, so it wasn't like we were able to do much other than flirting in bars with girls.
Or
you
watch porn together, or
watching
talk
porn.
about
Right.
things, fantasize
Yeah.
about things.
Talking about where we would eventually land, which I didn't know would be Toronto, Canada. But
Right.
that was 35 years ago.
Yeah, and you go through phases. Sometimes you're going to parties all the time, and then sometimes you outgrow it, or you get it out of your system a little bit. And then, nowadays, it's more that we have a family of lifestyle friends. Our lifestyle is our lifestyle now, and just having a regular barbecue with people, knowing their families, that has transcended into.
Right.
And also, I think worrying about the crossover between the regular life and the swing and the lifestyle life.
You do worry about that?
Not
or you
anymore.
don't?
Much less now.
Not
Much
anymore.
less.
Much less now.
We
I
did
guess
in the
maybe the
beginning.
older I get, the less I care what other people think.
I think our friends are also, and including myself, less inappropriate at this age. Like when we were younger,
Very
I was pretty
mature.
inappropriate. I wore my sexuality on my sleeve, and I would, always want to joke around and say things or whatever, make out with girls. And sometimes there's just a time and a place for everything, right? And now our friends are all grown up,
Very
and so
much
when we
so.
hang out, we're just
I've shared holidays
out.
with lifestyle people. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I know lifestyle people extends to knowing their families now for us.
So let's drill into this so that people understand this isn't some taboo thing you do in the dark corners of your life. This is sometimes for people, including myself, people that you come to bring into your life as solid friends, or whatever you want to call them on the spectrum of relationship types. But these are people who you care about. They're people who you would, acknowledge on their birthday, or, go for barbecue or things like that. As you said, if they're moving, help them move. It's not all about sex. It's very little about sex sometimes, to be honest. Do you agree?
Oh my
Can I
God,
touch
please.
you?
Yeah. Thank you.
I
Learn.
I met her in the pandemic, and I love her, and it's very
Talk
little
about
to do with
transcended.
other than making sure we get our quality time together, and that we got to do this.
Now,
Right.
that being said, anybody who is watching this, who is new at it, and definitely has to keep those things separate, don't think that is something that you should be shamed for. If you really are nervous about it because of your job,
Yeah.
you could be a teacher, you could be in government work, or whatever that happens to be, and you just cannot,
Yeah.
But I guarantee, if you are hanging around this lifestyle long enough, you will find somebody you trust. People will rise to a certain surface, and people you trust to be around other family members, or and not spill the beans per se if you didn't want that.
I have to just laugh at a moment because I'm currently not allowed near ours family members because I am not to be trusted with what I
You
share.
just blurt it out.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. She's every time I've met her mom once or twice, and she's very aware of every moment I'm in the house, because what if I call her the name that's not her real name? Like that's, you know, she's her club name, or you know, I'm a bit of an overshare. I don't know if you guys notice, I'm a bit of overshare, and I can shock people, and sometimes people just don't need that in front of people, like they don't want to know their business, right? So
and everybody, you have to respect everybody's boundaries for sure.
Right. So even recently, I mean, I was invited recently to a birthday party where people were bringing their kids, and I was like, as much as I know I could be okay, I just don't know if I want to hold my breath for like the whole lunch and just don't say anything sexual, don't say any bad words, like cross your legs, you know, cover your tits. Like, no, I can't handle it.
You need a checklist.
I need different hangout places.
That's a lot.
I know. I don't like the vanilla world experience as much anymore. I like to just be myself. So I like lifestyle people who know what that entails.
That's why we've sought out a new community, because earlier in life we weren't necessarily being our real selves. And I think with this community and everyone being like-minded, we can just...
I don't think that we weren't being ourselves. I think we were around people that weren't...
outwardly.
Yeah.
Right?
Or people
At
that
all
were a little
times
too much
comfortably.
conservative, that we had to, you know, censor ourselves around.
Right. Man, I'm used to that.
And sometimes you do got to censor yourself. You know, we spend so much time in this little lifestyle hosting online and doing stuff like that, that when people ask us, what have you been doing with yourself? You're like, what G-rated answer can I give you?
Right? I mean, every Friday we host a lifestyle live stream, right? So like,
and the conversation topic is usually fantastic.
Why can't you guys ever go out on a Friday? I don't know.
That is
I'm
going
tired
out to
from
me, though,
work.
right? Like it is.
It is.
I want to drill into this. I have a few topics, but there is a virtual space to be a swinger. And this started in the pandemic. I've talked about it a few times on my channel, but there is currently, I don't care what state you're in, I don't care if there's no sex clubs or swinger clubs near you, you can start right now and actually join a community and meet other people who are sex positive. You don't have to wait till someone matches with you on whatever app you're using, and then, you know, you don't have to wait for someone else to validate that you want to be in this lifestyle. You could do it the virtual way. I am not affiliated with Oasis Aqua Lounge. I do not get any commission to promote them, but they have a virtual website that costs it's like $25 a month roughly, and if you go, you can go to these events. And Nudelyweds hosts Friday nights, and I'm not gonna lie, I know every Friday, if I'm not at M4, I will be online at the virtual event, because it's the same as going out. You're with a bunch of people who are on webcam, who are sex positive, respectful, non-judgmental, and you're included. You can show up with, you know, your introverted self, and you'll still be part of the circle. And I think that's what I really like to see, is there's a lot of people who go on cam and you see them warm up over time, like bring their personality a bit.
A lot of new people for their first time. It's a great way to first timers. We have questions, and then swingers, the lifestyle people, love nothing more than just to all input. So we go around the room and everyone gives advice, and everyone likes to share stories. And so whenever it's a Friday night and we're about to host and we don't have anything planned and you show up, I'm like, oh, thank you. Somebody will start throwing out some intrusive questions.
Right.
That'll get the conversation started, because sometimes we don't plan things very well.
And I run out of questions too. I get less interesting as they get used. I don't know.
I find that talking to new people about what to expect, how to have no expectations, but what to expect, what to wear, what to do, all the things, all the Toronto Unicorn advice that we can possibly give. I find that those nights are so fascinating.
Last Friday night at the club was speed dating. And it was a little too crowded, so we gave up our spot. But as I was standing in the doorway and more people started piling up, people were asking, what are they doing inside? And I was like, oh, they're doing speed dating, get in line. And then I started I'm like, have you been here before? And they would answer yes or no. And you do the yes or no thing. No? Okay. Oh, cool. What brought you here? And so I would do this. I kept doing this to people. One girl just stops and goes, you're really good at this. I could do it pretty much every Friday night. Have you been here before? What got you here? How did you tell the other partner that you were interested in doing something like this? You just keep adding and adding and adding and adding.
That's awesome. You're the social butterfly, like bringing the people out of their shell a bit too.
Yeah, and then once you get through those questions, and everybody else has already heard what those people all had to say, and then I leave and they're all talking to each other. We haven't been here before either.
Exactly. And don't you feel good about that? It's like, good, go, flourish.
Starting conversation.
Go, butterfly, go.
My thing in the pool is when there's couples, single, couple, single people, and then a group of friends, I'm like, let's all talk to each other.
Yeah.
You're really
Get
good.
out of the corner.
You're really good because the most surprising thing is that a single girl can go to a lifestyle club and sit in the corner and never be approached by anybody. Yep. And you like to walk around and go, "Are you here by yourself? Are you here by yourself? Are you here by yourself? Come join us.
Let's all be
Come
friends.
join us. Come join us. Come
Right.
join us."
It's fun.
It's
I think
fun.
you have a similar energy to me. I now call it TorontoUnicorn summer camp when I start rounding up people
Yep.
to be part of our crew for the
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
And like I'm telling you, it brings some joy, like genuine joy to my soul to see people feel included. And then, you know, maybe they didn't have sex that night. It doesn't even matter. They go home and they had the night that they were, you know, looking for when they spend, for guys, $100 to come out to the club. Even if you just feel like you're not awkward all night, that can be a win, right?
Being included and sitting there, even if you didn't get to anything, you're still like talking to someone with, you know, looking at lovely people, hanging out, talking, socializing, having fun. It's just such a great energy.
It's so fun to look over and I'm like, oh, that guy's getting a blowjob. Like, it's just so casual.
I got
love
eaten
it.
out by the pool the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, and I started a trend. All of a sudden, all these girls were up on the edge, and then
Yeah, it was all around the pool.
people
It
were
was
going
great.
down on them, and I was just like,
Wow.
It was great.
oh, God, this beautiful, beautiful girl that I wanted to meet in person so badly, and we finally met in person. It was great.
That's
been a
good.
cool part of this trip is every time we come, we meet, not meeting new people, but we meet people that we've known for years that we've never met face to face.
Right.
Every trip always has some of that.
Because the virtual spaces, you're in California, right? So Wasted Aqua Lounge is in Toronto, Canada. It's a little bit of a hike. So they come once a year. But yeah, the virtual space is how we met many years ago. And I was a baby little unicorn back then. I was a shy, unknowing, like not so shy. I mean, how shy could I be? But there was a part of me that was just looking in the window of this lifestyle. And then I saw Mr. and Mrs. Nudelyweds on the virtual. And I remember I said something, I talked about this before, but I said something really out of character. And I asked if I could be her sister wife. And it was just because I saw something. I saw, first of all, a couple that doesn't have kids that went and had a beautiful marriage without all that. That's a huge goal of mine, is to have a beautiful future without the responsibility of children. And so I saw that you could do it with the sex positive aspect too. And like, you were my role models. And so I just wanted to like hook to you guys and be like, take me with you. Cause that's the way. So
This is the
But
way.
we did kind of. We all took each other with.
We all took
each other in this big group, and we worked so hard to come back here every year after year just to hang out with this group of people. So
I remember the first time it was
pretty fun.
mind fucking though. I was like, you're here now.
Yeah, and then the other night we did dishes together, so we are truly sister wives now.
Oh yes,
my
I know.
God.
We in the moment we're like, we
Transcended.
actually are sister wives.
It's super cute.
It is funny. So that actually leads me into another topic. So we talked recently about swinger, polyamory, and for anyone who's not really familiar, swinging is more casual sex, non-romantic feelings. So you could have friends that you swing with, but it usually is not a separate relationship. Polyamory can take a lot of different forms, but it usually has more romantic feelings and relationships. You said the other day that you've actually gone a little bit back and forth between just casual sex swinging and relationships.
Oh, for sure.
Sure, different people fulfill different roles, or the ones you see more often, then you start becoming closer and closer and closer to, and for sure.
Like you don't have to out anybody, but you have a couple that you hang out with once every a couple months or something.
Yeah, every couple of months we hang out together for about 3 or 4 days because we live kind of far apart.
Right.
And so we're just very close together, and it's like, we find ourselves, the two guys laying on the couch watching TV together during the day, and
Nice.
Now, wherein I would not say that we are necessarily polyamorous, and I would never put that label on them
Gotcha.
either. We love each other to pieces. So I think that if you look at it that way, it exists 100% for us. But
Okay.
what in sometimes polyamory, I look at the two folks being able to have other relationships, little branches of the tree, and we don't roll that way.
Gotcha.
So, but we've had a girlfriend before, several times. We've had a girlfriend that lived with us. So that was
And the girlfriend of the couple, not just
of the
like one
couple.
of you.
Very equal three-way love. Well, we've done three-way
so
love
cool.
before. He and I are very lovey-dovey. And
Yeah.
when we fall pretty hard. But we've had the three-way love, yeah, and we actually lived together for a year.
Wow.
That was quite interesting.
Would you do it again?
No.
That came out lightning fast.
I'm
That's-
good.
Each person is totally different, and
Right.
Wonderful at the time.
Yeah, it's fun. It was fun to try,
Right.
And it's also finding the right third person too. You know what I mean? Because when you have our bubble, our bubble is 35-year bubble. When you let somebody into your bubble, we forgive each other for a lot of things every single solitary day. When a new person shows up, they're not part of our 35 years of history.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it can be a challenge to make everyone not only feel equal, but also inviting a third person in suddenly magnifies maybe something between the two of you that you forgive each other for and you gloss over, but then that third person is like, what? Now, a third person is fun because sometimes when there's a debate or an argument between two people, a third person can...
That's funny.
They're like, actually, yes, you're being a dick. And you're like, oh, am I? Or they'll be like, yes, you're being kind of a bitch, or whatever. And you're
You
like,
can't use them as a mediator, but sometimes it's a barometer.
Sometimes it's like, is it me? Yes, it's you. And you're like, oh, damn, that's what happens when you have a third person around. Honesty.
I would say the other thing that happens when you have a third person is not necessarily just them coming into our bubble, them finding their comfortable place in between and with this huge dynamic bubble, in that we invite them to please control the remote control. Please pick the movie for tonight. Please, what do you want for dinner, right? And they have a hard time stepping forward on that and going like, I'd like to watch this movie tonight. They kind of think like we should pick it. And
so there's almost like an assumed hierarchy.
An assumed hierarchy when we're striving for
equal.
Equality, because equality is very cool, and I want your inputs, and I want you to take a lead role.
Right.
Now, I don't mean that's everybody. We've met lots of different types of people that have different types of relationships. So I just find polyamory is just multiple loves, which I have a lot of polyamory in this community even.
There's a ton of it. There's a ton of people who go both ways. Poly swingers.
Yeah.
Sure. Totally.
We have love together for people.
Gotcha.
Like our best friends that live 7 blocks away. Like it's such a family relationship. We're so family.
Oh yeah, we helped them with the garage sale.
We help them with their garage sale. Right, swingers having garage sales.
Right. I would love to see what's on their tables, their card tables.
Right. Actually, our neighbor had naughtier stuff than either swinger house did.
Wow.
Their swinger
adjacent,
right? But they had naughty.
But yeah, we get calls from them on nighttime on Christmas Day, and when after the family thing is wound down and they're just drinking with their kids, or because their kids are all adults now, and they're like, "Hey, all the family's over, come over," and we'll just hop on our bikes and go over to their house, and then I'm like hanging out in the jacuzzi drinking with their kids on Christmas Day. I'm like, oh, the lifestyle has really transcended for us.
But it's good, and we have so much love for them and so much love for our other partners that you mentioned and different things.
That's so fun. And I really love that this lifestyle does ebb and flow. And I like that you normalize that also for me, because I was starting to wonder in my own journey, am I losing interest in threesomes? Is it temporary? And then just the other day I found a couple and I was like, I'd love to have a double blowjob in my head, right? And I was like, it's still there. It's still there. But it definitely left for a while. And that's okay, because it doesn't matter. I feel like sometimes when people find this lifestyle, they're afraid of losing it again. And if I feel like, oh, I'm not going to do the lifestyle the way I started, like for example, me, single woman doing couples, then I'm not in the lifestyle, or I'm going to lose it. And so if I stop having sex with couples and I stop, what am I now? Right? Am I still allowed in the swinger lifestyle? And some people would argue that I shouldn't be. There's people who think sex clubs should be just for people who are there to fuck. And I like to tell those people to fuck off.
No.
Because it's totally not.
If the right fuck comes to you while you're there, you're not going to not do it. You just don't need to do it every blessed time, and that's fine.
It's true, but not only that, I don't like public sex. So even if I were to meet someone, I wouldn't want to necessarily my legs in the club and take it
in front of everybody.
No, it just, for me, I'm a little shy about sex like that, and I don't really feel very good in the middle of it when guys are like, I know some people don't mind, but for me, it's
but the
thing.
Club is for meeting that like-minded person. You're not going to meet that guy at the grocery store and go like, I like X, Y, and Z, but maybe not in public.
Exactly. But I did have some guy. It was a DTF night, and I was wearing my orgy director top. I had just helped a friend have a gangbang, and I wasn't there to have sex. But anyways,
we meet this friend last night?
Well, you met the girl last night, yes. But this gentleman, he was like, so do you want to play? And I was like, no, I'm not playing. I'm not playing tonight. And he literally said, well, why did you come here then?
Whoa. No. And
I got on my little soapbox for a moment.
You're just not experienced enough to.
Yeah. And that's the problem is I was a little bit like, I wanted to defend myself. I'm like, well, actually, there's a lot of reasons people come here.
Right.
And I remember realizing to just do it with kindness. Don't be angry. Don't make, he was questioning why the fuck I'm at the party. Like, why the fuck are you at the party? Get the fuck out of here.
Look, your experience when you were new at it, you probably would have defended it. Now you're so experienced, you just patted them on the head and said, "Bless your little heart," and walked away. And just went.
That's just it. I actually said, "Oh, there's lots of
think?
reasons people come here," and I said, "I actually just helped run a gangbang." You know, like it's true. Like I just, you know, I was there to do that. But
Friday night, I think I met 3 different single females. They were all from local universities and colleges, and they come there, and I was having a great conversation with this one girl, which I was actually finding very attractive. She was almost my height, and we were talking, and we were having a great time, and she finished her beer, and she goes, "Okay, finish my 1 beer. Bye. Nice meeting you." And I just said, "Bye, nice meeting you." But she had her boundary. Right. She came there. She wanted to float in the pool. She had a beer. Yeah. She's been there for her 2nd time, and she bailed.
Nice, okay.
And she didn't want to wake up tomorrow morning and said, "Ooh, shit, I had 10 beers and I fucked 5 people and I didn't really want to do that." And
right.
She stuck to her guns, and I helped her stick to her guns. We were recently at a party, and we started to like this couple a lot. Turned out they were on a date. Their spouses were at home, know each other and know that they were on a date together. Her and I started getting a little frisky, and then I noticed her reaction a little bit. I said, "Is something wrong?" And she goes, "Him and I have never talked about this dynamic of including somebody else in our situation. We have our own thing." And I took her off of my lap, and I was like, "Oh, then you need to go over there, and you guys need to work that out." Because I go, "No. You want to wake up tomorrow morning and not say, 'I wish I didn't do that.' You want to wake up tomorrow morning and go, 'Next time, I want to.'"
Right.
Right. So don't cross that line, especially if you're with a couple and you haven't spoken or agreed with your partner about something. Because even if it's erotic, even if it's exciting, you don't want someone to also people please consent, right? Because if they think, "Oh, I really want this. Can I have it? Can I have it? Can I have it?" Word. Right. And so I'm like, sure, as you sit there and feel like sad about it or something, like that's not okay. You shouldn't be taking one for the team.
Well, we ended up having a lovely night with them because once we told them that we needed nothing from them, and it was okay that they were in this space, right?
Yeah.
We hung out. We had the best time.
It took a little while to reassure them we wanted nothing from them.
Yeah. She put her foot on his lap, and he was rubbing her foot, and it didn't mean I want to
let her flirt with me, but that's about as much as I would let her do.
But we talked, and we hung out, and we had a great time.
And for some of us, like myself included, I'm sexually shy with new people, and you would never know it with the kind of content I put up. Like, I'm a fierce vixen, but then in real life, I'm just like, I don't know if I'm ready to touch yet. Like, you know, like it's just a very different girl sometimes inside. But I recognize that need to make someone feel like you don't want something from them. You don't need something from them to still be friendly and have that interaction.
I love that. Those are my best moments.
And that's how you guys make so many people comfortable, because you're like, it's okay to just be friendly, and no one is thinking that you're going to offer or be consenting to something sexual as a result, right? So
one of the first nights we got to Oasis, maybe the first day, we met a girl at the front door. We all entered together, so there's already now a little comfort level. We walked in together. She's a single female, and strength in numbers, right? And then we really liked hanging out, and so we talked, and then like after a while we had hung out a lot. So I know she's probably thinking right now, like, oh, I wonder if they expect that I'm gonna have sex with them. And we're kind of thinking like, oh my God, are we gonna have to hang out with her all night, and does she expect that we're gonna have sex with her? Right. So in a little while later, we went to go get some food. She was like, "I'm hungry, can I please go?" "Yes, please." And while we were sitting there, I said, "Just so you know, we want literally nothing. We need nothing from you. This is amazing. I'm loving this." She goes, "Oh my God, thank you for saying that."
Yeah.
And then from there we just hung out so smoothly.
She met all our friends and everything.
It was lovely. And in making friends with our friends and things, she may have had, I don't know if she had any fun little encounters or met anyone she was
I think she was also one of those people that came to the club. She likes to lay in the sun, and then, you know, she found somebody she actually kind of liked with us, but she was still going through her own. She's going to have to process what she felt that night, and then run into somebody else later that she likes a lot and go, like, okay.
It's nice to see people listen to their own limits, too,
sure.
right?
Sure.
And if you think about how long we've been here already, what are we going on, like a 6th day
5 days,
so far?
6 days.
And then we still have X number of days to go. Like, what would that guy to say to me if I haven't had sex with someone every night we've been there? Like, I'm just here hanging out with my friends.
Right, yeah.
I'm a nudist. I have had little...
stayed fully clothed at the club the other night and just hung out.
I've done that in a hoodie before by accident, because I got sad one night, a long time ago. I got sad and I was like in my hoodie. I was going to go home, and then my friends cheered me up, but I just never took my hoodie off. And I felt so fucking comfortable around all the other people.
I really don't care
whatever.
what other people think.
That was awesome.
It takes a lot, though, to not care what other people think. especially in the lifestyle, I suppose.
Yes, it does, except I learned it real quick coming into the especially always Soccer Lounge environment. Before then, I was very body conscious, very shy, wouldn't take my clothes off in front of anybody in any change room. I don't care what was on the other side of that change room. I just didn't do it. I was just, I don't know. I look back and I wish I could give that girl a hug, right? Because there was just a block. Mm-hmm. But I remember Oasis. It was like I went and I got down to my bra and panties, put my towel on, and went outside because there was no way in hell I was getting my boobs out. And then, because even on the virtual, I don't take my boobs out very often. I'm so weirdly shy about showing myself that I still do it. My fan page is explicit. I show my fucking my fan page, but not every day either. I'm like, it's not like here's Tuesday, you know.
I feel honored when I get a little TU boob.
Yes, because it's special.
TU boob.
TU boob is special.
It's so funny.
Now and my boobs, not special. You'll see them every Friday.
Well, they're really special every time you see them. But yes, we do see them a lot. Yes.
Don't sell yourself short.
No, they're
special.
No, they're internationally famous.
Oh yes, they are.
Toronto, Canada loves Miss Nude's boobs.
And if YouTube would have allowed me, I would have been able to show. But no, I can't do that. So you have been in Toronto for like what, 6 days now. Yes. You've been at the club many of those days.
It's been fun.
And you have a few more days in front of you. Mm-hmm. Are you sick of the club or are you not sick of the club?
Oh God,
no. We only get to come once a year. And
I like to immerse in
it. We talk about it all year long, so no.
Right.
We've hosted on stage twice so far. At least I've had some stage time, which is fun.
That's awesome.
I was in a little skit, which was phenomenal.
Was
a spelling bee. A nerdy sexual spelling.
And you were dressed very sexy, little schoolgirl outfit.
Camp. It just felt like summer camp completely.
Yeah. I've had a couple of little experiences. Like I said, I got my on the side of the pool by someone that I've been very attracted to online for 3 or 4 years now since we met in the pandemic. We finally met in person. I had another couple where the husband was sitting on the steps and his wife was like blowing him, and I kind of went over there and was like, oh, what's going on? And I knew what
they're friends of ours, very close friends of ours.
I knew what his little kink is, right? He likes his earlobe nibble.
Oh, okay.
So she was doing that, and I go, oh, let's make him bust. And he's like, what? And I go, I know what to do. And she was doing all the work, and I went up and nibbled on his ear, and she swallowed it in the pool. It was amazing.
I'm like, you're going to let that go in the pool? And she's always swallowed it down.
She took care of it. It was premeditated. Wow. But I felt like, where can you go that you can have like a 5-minute experience where I didn't actually have sex or do anything but nibble on someone's earlobe, right? It totally blew my mind.
There was a couple that he knew her and I have had sex before. She hadn't had sex with any other guy besides him. And then over the weekend was the first time he actually witnessed it and saw it happen.
Yeah, we got a little kinky there.
And the turn on was there for all 4 of us.
Wow.
And then I was kind of like being kind of verbally abusive to her a little bit as far as
good abusive.
Yeah.
Like she wanted that. I was teasing her about the fact, like, is your husband I was saying really nasty stuff.
Like cucking the husband?
No, just being naughty.
Miss Nudes
and the husband me and him were snuggling. He was touching me and he was just watching.
And she was whispering to him naughty things about like what we were doing, and I was whispering naughty things to her about what we were doing, and that he was watching, and we sent them on their merry way because that'll fuel them for a long time.
Honestly, all these experiences add up. They're so memorable. And I've only had a few group sex experiences looking back in my life. Maybe I could count them on 2 hands total. And I didn't know at the time, but they were special because they aren't all the time. And maybe you do have group sex all the time, but if you don't and you're new to the lifestyle, value every single one.
Yeah.
Because it really is like,
Cherish.
it might be your one and only shot of having a foursome one day. You just never know.
Right.
So yeah, I never really knew at the moment to take it in that way. Like spit roasted. How fucking much do I have to ask the universe to spit roast me? I've only been spit roasted twice. It's because I have a statistical issue getting 2 guys that I fuck at the same time, one front, one behind. I have a limited list of guys that I sleep with. So that's my real challenge. I'm in my own way, right? But the truth is, I really want to get fucking spit roasted. I want to get drunk. I want to have so much around me that is safe that I can have the experience that I help deliver for others.
Yes, I hear you. I
love that.
I used to have.
Go ahead.
Well, I used to have 2 boyfriends, so they were just good friends of his. So there was 3 guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so I was a very lucky girl at that point because I trusted and loved both of them a lot.
And I trusted them too.
And so
Yeah.
you guys all had sex at the same time together?
Yeah,
With her.
or
Wow.
different
Sharing
things. Like
her.
there'd be times where they'd be watching a ball game, and I would like make them drinks and snacks, and then be blowing one of them. They're just
my
like hanging out, like
Two of us are watching the game.
guy
she's giving
friends,
one
right?
blowjob.
Oh man, or times where I got spit roasted big time. It was so sexy.
I had this fantasy, and I don't know if it'll ever happen in real life, of like being with like my boyfriend or whoever, and then his friends over,
Yes.
and it like doing
Yes.
exactly what you did.
Yes, and we talk dirty like that. Like invite your friends over.
Like,
you know
I'm
what
a
I mean?
good hospitality girl. Like, I'll give some
Right.
blowjobs, you know? Like, it'll
Yeah.
just be, you just enjoy the game, you know?
Yes.
I think that for me is something on my hopeful bucket list one day, but you never know. So I'm glad to hear that you've done
the
that.
transcended relationship in that regard was like one of the guys one year was like didn't have anywhere to go on Thanksgiving, and we had him over at my family's house for Thanksgiving. And while we're at Thanksgiving, I texted him across the table. I'm like, "You fuck my wife." He looks at me. He gets his phone. He looks at it. He looks at me across the table. He's like, "Really, dude? Right now?"
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. So before we wrap up, I wanted to go and talk about the little start of our journey that we always say we're going to get to, but we never do. So you saw Toronto Unicorn before I even went by Toronto Unicorn. This is rare, right? Even R only knows me as when I was Toronto Unicorn. So
really?
oh yeah, she only saw me on YouTube and wrote me a
When
letter.
your unicorn hadn't
Yeah.
grown yet?
Wow.
That's how R and I met. She wrote me what I like to call a love letter.
Oh my god, really?
Yep, and she's basically said, like, essentially, we're kindred souls, I think, and
you are.
Oh my God.
right, and like, let's find out. And she was the best thing I could have ever found, especially when I was in that phase of my YouTube career and everything. She was my ride or die, my OG, right beside me all the way, and I still get the flashbacks come up saying, "Oh, in 2021 you posted this," or 2022, and there's R, and I'm like, she has been with me. She has been doing this by my side.
Nice.
But before
Love you,
that, I even went by a different name online. I think it was like Sugar and Spice instead.
Yes.
I don't
Yes,
remember what
I
your
do.
starting name
Yes.
was.
Sugar and spice.
Yeah, it was Sugar and Spice. And then I realized pretty quickly that I was inconsistent with branding, and I had to fix it. So I fixed it, but I was very new to loving my body. Let's put it that way. I was coming out of a long multi-year depression where I lost track of my body-mind connection and all of it. So I was just coming into a place of kind of owning it and trying to get comfortable. And so the virtual events I started attending because of COVID hit. And I would slowly, put on lingerie for them, and then I would, start to take pictures, before the events because I was getting dressed up. So I'll take a picture, and then I'd put it on like a kink site. Anyways, long story short, it turned into a career where I now have a fan page. It's night and day from the girl that started, who was too shy to still show her boobs. I still don't show my boobs. I'm shy. So what was it like to watch the progression of little baby Toronto Unicorn into 4 years later?
I'm gonna let you take that one.
I'm going to start right now in that I feel when we first got you, you were disenchanted.
Got you. We got you.
When we got you, when the baby unicorn hatched, I feel that you were disenchanted with normal dating.
The muggle dating lifestyle.
Muggle dating, vanilla guys, bad connections and things, and you needed to rebuild your connections. And what happened was we started this weird pandemic community. So I think the pandemic was good for you.
Oh, yes.
For sure. And we started this weird pandemic community where we all supported each other, and it was body positive, which went in alignment with what you were going through, trying to find that, right?
Yeah.
And we would get silly and stupid and do little dancey things, and every once in a while, if you would stand up and like show your butt, we'd be, oh my god,
Right.
Like a little farther, a little farther.
little baby steps, baby unicorn steps.
Yeah.
And then you had an experience, maybe your first threesome.
I think with
What
a
was it? It was a
couple.
positive experience.
Positive experience with a
I
couple.
want to say it was a couple, it was a
Okay.
threesome, and you felt really great about it. And I remember what you said. They showed you your value.
They made you feel
feel
appreciated to be
appreciated.
Right.
Like you were with them and they cherished what you were bringing to the table.
Yes.
And that felt so good for you. And then you started to blossom and have more positive experiences.
I do
And
remember that.
then it kind of really took off from there. But
Just like
before you were famous.
Before you were
Becoming
famous.
No, you were just happier.
Yeah.
But before, just like with you and R are now part of like our inner circle. You know what I mean? So it's like we've gone from like strangers online to
Yeah.
like when I come here, sure, there's a huge community I want to see, but there's also an inner family circle. There's a very close inner family circle of people that are must-sees, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we can't make sure everybody's here every single time.
Yeah.
A lot of people are missing on this particular trip, but there are a certain chunk of people that are like, oh, you better be here. You better be here. You better be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I love about it.
It's been a fun ride, and I'm still shy about the whatever, but not on my fan page. I have to say that it's an outlet when I'm in control and I can control the camera tilt and lighting.
Yeah,
I'm fine. I'm good.
Oh, I love it when you get all.
We all have to do that,
right?
We all have to do that.
Yeah. So thank you guys so very much, not only for doing the interview this time around, but you've also set for other interviews. There's so much valuable information you guys can get out of it. There's going to be a link in the description of this podcast so that you can get the whole playlist for Starling Newlyweds on my YouTube channel. And don't forget that they actually put together a little list of things you might need to throw your very first sex party.
I forgot about that.
Yes. Amazon.ca.
Amazon.com/shop/TorontoUnicorn. There's also the Canadian version, and you can get, there's like a little trash can. There's like, wipes and things that you recommend. So.
Actually, you know what? We'll do that on an audio podcast sometime. We'll talk about how to throw your own
That's a great
swinger
one.
party.
And what to expect.
How to host a swinger party.
Yeah, literally what to expect. What are the issues
if you're
you have?
If you're inviting people over that you don't know, or inviting people over that you do know.
There's a lot. Like, I wouldn't invite anyone I don't know into this space. I don't, so it's one of those things where you need to know what you're doing before you invite a bunch of people in to start having bodily fluids go flying, because there's girls that have come in and squirted all over my couch without consulting me because I was eating around. And I just, like, after they left, I was fucking scrubbing it, and I was like, that's not etiquette nice. Like, that's just not. So anyway, so you can get the links to that.
Though.
Right? They're helpful. You can get the link in the description. Disclaimer, I do get an affiliate income off Amazon purchases, so go check it out.
Go to the list.
I'll diddle if you go and make a purchase. So, all right, thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Newlywed.
Thank you for having us in the unicorn lair. Thank you for
more.
being you.
We'll do more.
Awesome.